Hey guys, I want to tell you about one of our newest sponsors, Red Branch Outdoor Living. They create environments to bring people together by providing a turnkey solution for outdoor living with remarkable customer experience. They specialize in outdoor kitchens, pavilions, patios, pools, spas, and fire features. And they do it with integrity, innovation, and being remarkable. They did my outdoor space and it turned out amazing. Check them out at redbranchconstruction.com.
Guys, I want to take a moment to talk about someone who's been instrumental in my personal and business success. That's Johnny Barranco and his team at Barranco & Associates. For over 7 years, Johnny has been my go-to accountant and financial consultant. I can tell you that he's more than just a tax preparer. Johnny takes a holistic approach to all my financial dealings, aligning them with my long-term plans and personal lifestyle. I've recommended Johnny to several friends throughout different business groups around the country, and the feedback has been nothing short of exceptional. His expertise and service are top-notch. So if you're looking for someone who not only prepares your taxes, but also helps you strategize for the future, Johnny and his team at Barranco & Associates are the ones to call. Trust me, you won't regret it. So contact Johnny Barranco today and take the first steps towards financial peace. You're not going to regret this. Look, not all of you have to deal with workman's comp, but those of you that do know that it's time-consuming and it's a headache. Insurance in general feels like something that happens to you rather than for you. But partnering with someone that really knows their stuff, like Chris May with LTN Insurance, you've heard him before on the podcast, offers you the opportunity to regain control of your insurance. By collaborating with Chris, you have the chance to craft a personalized plan that ensures you receive optimal coverage at the best price. At LTN Insurance, their foremost core value is centered on education rather than sales. Their core value actually says, we don't sell, we educate, because they truly believe in empowering you, the customer, with the knowledge to make informed decisions about your insurance. That's whether you do business with them or not. They want you to be informed. So you can trust Chris and look him up, give him a call, or go to the website, ltninsurance.com. Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Overlap Podcast. And if you're new or you're just coming back from a hiatus of not listening to us and trying out other podcasts and realizing that we're better, this podcast, we discuss and study the overlaps between work, fitness, family, faith, parenting, and leadership, with the premise that becoming better in one aspect of your life helps you become better in all aspects of life. And we are simplifying big business brilliance for small business leaders. That's really what we do here at The Overlap, right?
That is what we do, and that tagline is amazing.
It's pretty good. That was also not generated by AI.
It was not. It was generated by an L10.
An L10, a quarterly.
Which is appropriate for this podcast.
It really is. Because this podcast, we are recapping the EOS conference and our experience, I guess that was a couple of weeks ago in San Diego.
It was, but do you know what I remember the most?
I'm sure it has something to do with food.
Cheesecake.
Oh, yeah. Really? Well, yeah, they did not help us out having the conference right next door to the Cheesecake Factory, which, fun fact, I hadn't eaten at a Cheesecake Factory ever until like 1 year ago.
Really?
Yeah. And my youngest, Evan, forced us to go eat there.
The only thing I don't like about the Cheesecake Factory is their menu is so large. There's so many options.
That's true. My immediately thought, nothing on this menu can be good because there's too many options. Turned out I was wrong. I mean, it was pretty okay. All of it.
You know the part of their menu I do throw away right when I get in the restaurant?
What's that?
The Skinnylicious one.
Oh, the Skinnylicious? That seems ridiculous. Why are you coming to the Cheesecake Factory?
To get a Skinnylicious menu.
Yeah, that's like, that's counterintuitive. It's like, you don't want to do that. Just accept it. You're at a Cheesecake Factory. Go with it.
Go with it. Take a cheat day.
I think we took a cheat week.
San Diego was beautiful.
San Diego was beautiful. It was phenomenal. Well, right on brand. The weather was fantastic. I mean, sunny, mild weather, got as high as 80 degrees at night and as low as like low 60s in the evening. It was perfect. It's wonderful. And we were down by the marina, like right downtown. It was great.
It is great. You even ran one
day.
I
ran, and it was beautiful.
I did not run.
Well, yeah, you were talking to some guy.
No, I did run one day when you said, let's go to breakfast.
Oh, did we run?
No, I mean, I kind of trotted
towards
food.
Yeah, towards the food. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did run. I like doing that. When I go places, I'll run to just kind of look around. And there's lots of boats there. It was super cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
So, the EOS conference, though. This is the second one we've been to. We went to Indianapolis last year, which, by the way, I mean, shout out to Indianapolis, downtown Indianapolis. I was blown away. That place was cool.
I was blown away, too. And that even was nice because we went to that cool cigar bar, and you know how I am about cigars.
Yeah, it was very cool. I even had a cigar.
Yeah.
I was like, I kind of get it a little bit. It's not something I want to do all the time, but I smoked a cigar, and it was okay.
Yeah. We've just talked about we talk about fitness on this podcast, so we have just debunked.
Well, it's the overlap, we're balancing our life out with fitness and vices. Like
that's that's right.
Yeah. Look, we talk about EOS a lot on this podcast. It has clearly made a huge impact on us. One, business professionally, but two, I think personally, it has created some margin in life and created some discipline and some structure to business. To then the overlap to that is created less stress in other aspects of our life and maybe given us a little bit of time back.
It definitely has. It's opened me up just in the last 2 years to be able to take opportunities that I would never have taken otherwise, just because of the structure that it's placed inside my businesses in my life.
Yeah, the inside baseball is sort of explanation of all that to the listener is that Keith now has jobs. Keith is now employed and employable.
Well, I would call them contracts. I mean, they still 1099 me.
Well, it's still jobs.
Yeah, jobs.
You have gigs.
Gigs.
Yeah, Keith is part of the gig economy. Now that makes more sense to me. I didn't know what they meant when those commercials. So the EOS has given Keith the opportunity to have real employment now. And we're all so happy for that.
Oh, great.
But it has made a big impact. And the conference, this is the second one. We were going with, hey, what else is there to know about EOS? And I think the first one we went to, we were like blown away. Holy cow. We're probably only using 15 to 25% of this operating system, if you will, for your business. And then you get to sit in breakout sessions and educational sessions that give you more tools for your toolbox when operating EOS. And we went to this conference with that same sort of search for enlightenment in mind.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say it took a twist, but it was a little different than we thought.
It was different.
However, I believe because we've been doing EOS for a couple years, there were different tracks, right? So you had like 1 to 2 years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was 0 to 6 months.
Right.
Then there was, or it was 0 to 1 year, or 0 to 1. 0 to 1.5, and then there was 1.5 to 3, and then there was 3 plus. That's what it was.
And so most of the ones that I did was all 3 plus.
I did not look at that very well. I just went off the title, and I made a mistake there.
And so I assume that when you get into 3 plus, it's a lot more visionary, business owner centric.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the educational breakouts that I went to were based around that, was based around my personal development, which I probably needed at this stage in my life.
Yeah, now that you have jobs.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. And so what were some of your key takeaways, Keith Glines?
having a longer vision for yourself than 3 or 5 years.
He's been talking about this for 2 weeks.
I really have. And I've started like putting my plan together.
Ooh.
And it's been so enlightening to be able to see my life at 57.
My God, you're getting old.
Yeah.
And we've both used the word enlightening in the first 8 minutes of this podcast.
I know, and we have not had ayahuasca.
We have
just
not,
to let you know.
Yeah, we have not.
Yeah.
There was talk about that. We were in San Diego, of course, and there was talk about ayahuasca. I hear more and more about that in my travels, and at some point, perhaps we're going to have to go to Costa Rica or something.
Maybe so. I'm actually
not even really sure. Is that a root? I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't either.
I'm sure that I know some of our listeners. They'll be able to
Hey,
tell us.
listeners, those of you in the know, could you just send us a message?
Travis, hit us up in our show notes.
Yeah, Travis probably knows. So longer term planning. You've been thinking about it. You've talked to me about it. You've mentioned to me that it's really made a big impact. You're talking about your 10-year plan. And so talk us through, like, how has it affected you, and what are you thinking about differently?
So one of the first sessions I went to was 10-year target.
Okay.
And it was facilitated by the guys who own an investment. And I think probably it was correct to have a guy that owns an investment, kind of financial planning, kind of lead this.
That's kind of their job.
And I think they're pretty successful at it from what I can tell.
Okay.
And it was talking about living your owner vision. And so it was basically all about, because all the time we're saying, work your VTO. And inside the VTO, there's, 1, 3, 5 year.
Yeah.
But
5 or 10.
Yeah. Right,
in 90 or EOS says 10 years, and sometimes you move it down to 5.
But to be real honest with you, I just deleted the 10-year.
Okay.
Out of my VTO.
What do you have, 1 and 3?
Yeah, 1 and 3. 1, 3, and 5.
1, 3, and 5. Yeah. So
so I moved the 10 to 5.
10 to 5.
Right?
Yeah. I've done the same.
Yeah. And so they basically scolded me for doing that and saying, okay, then you have no owner vision if you can't see where your life's going to be in 10 years. And, we all should, unless we're reaching the age that we don't have 10 more years of work, it would be good to think out there, what do you want that to be? Mm-hmm. And so they started talking about wealth creation and wealth depletion. And so there's a triangle.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that before.
Right? And then so
you build up, and then you start using it.
So you start up, you go into growth, you're established, you're in expansion mode, and then your business is mature.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the mature part, it goes into the exit adjustment period, early retirement, late retirement, and then legacy transfer. So it got you thinking about all of those modalities.
Okay. Oh, how about that word? Yeah. Okay.
And so that was the first thing. So it kind of set my course of how I would go into the whole conference. Right. And
okay. So you were looking at that through that framework of 10-year plan on all the other breakout sessions or workshops.
And then even the main sessions kind of led into that because, as follow the leader, and Gino Wickman's kind of the leader of the EOS kind of movement, which followed his life.
Yeah,
right?
It was very obvious that he, he sold EOS worldwide, but he is still the major influence on that conference, it seemed like.
Which showed me ultimate legacy, because if you can exit a company and still have the vision over it.
Oh, my God.
You're pretty substantial.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So then it got me thinking, okay, how do I exit in what I'm doing?
Yeah.
And still inspire it. Because you could definitely tell EOS is still very inspired around Gino Wickman.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, anything else on
the 10-year?
Or just,
so this is one of those things that I'm going to tell you that I'm just starting.
Scratching the surface.
And I don't know what it's going to look like. And I've kind of envisioned my life and dreamed about my life in 10 years and what my relationships look like and what my working life looks like. But I will tell you, I think I'm on the right path with, you call it
jobs.
Mm-hmm. But when I look at what I'm getting to do there, I would have never had the opportunity to do what I'm getting to do in the startup world and the venture capital world in all of this with these organizations had I not had a VTO.
Yeah, that's a good point. Isn't it funny how things happen when they're supposed to happen?
Yeah, it really is
because
great.
of other things that happened before that?
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
All I did was went to breakfast and had eggs and came out with a contract. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. What else stuck out to you for the conference in San Diego?
That EOS is the junk, man.
It really is.
I mean,
the junk.
Seeing the companies that were there, the community that's there, how they're building structure for small businesses, and they kind of line up philosophically with what we do here on the podcast. It just kind of struck me as, hey, this is really cool. This is where I need to be at this moment.
Yeah. So if you've never been to an EOS conference, a couple of things really stuck out for me. Number one, it's is it a 2-day or 2.5 technically?
It's kind of 2.5. We kind of jetted out early.
Well, no. So we left, like the last session was done about the time that we were getting to the airport. Mm-hmm. And we left right from there. So there wasn't like much we missed. But we also showed up a day early, like the afternoon, and then there's like the pre-conference, then there's the full day, and then there's the half day on the technical second day, which would be the third day that we were there. So that part, whatever. I think they were trying to give people options if they just wanted to come like a certain amount of time and limit their time there. I was struck by just how nice the hotel was and how the conference stuff was really kind of laid out. I do think that they have these meeting rooms strategically done where there's limited seating, so it's not like a big ballroom and it feels like it's empty when you go to those breakout sessions, which sometimes sort of backfires on them. You were trying to get into some and you couldn't get into.
Yeah, you can't like dilly-dally get into those sessions.
You have to have a plan on the app and have it, I had them worked into my calendar. I knew where I was going. I was getting reminders 15 minutes before, and you better get there.
Yeah, I'm going to have Assist Pro assist me at the next EOS to get to my meetings on Assist Pro. You should probably sponsor this episode.
You probably should, or others. But that was another thing that I don't know that I really gathered the first EOS conference we went to, which was last year, is that there are tons of vendors at that conference. And I'm not like a big conference vendor talk guy, but there are lots of vendors there that could really help your business. For instance, Assist Pro is a virtual assistant company that runs on EOS and essentially trains their people to help you run EOS, or they will assist you through the lens of EOS too. So I have a virtual assistant. This is fun fact. Her name is Katie, and we have an L10 done in 90 every week. And then we give each other to-dos, there's rocks and stuff like that. And we're just executing on that. And it is the way to, I've never had a virtual assistant before, but I can imagine that this is the best way to do it because the communication is clear and it's very efficient.
Shout out to Katie. She helps us on the podcast.
Yeah, shout out to Katie. And she's probably never going to listen to this. She's like 29 and lives part of her life in Costa Rica and other part. And
she lives
Denver.
a life.
She is. Those remote working people are killing it.
But what I got out of the EOS conference was more personal development for me. this year.
Yeah.
How about you?
So that was clearly a big message, and I don't know that, man, I spent so much time with that like a decade ago that kind of most of the stuff they were talking about I had heard. You've heard me talk about probably one of the most influential or impactful retreats, seminars, I don't know how to call it, was this Living Forward with a guy named Dan Harkavy. He was actually partners with Michael Hyatt, and they had this Living Forward deal where you write your eulogy. You go through your whole life of, at the end of your life, what are people going to say about, and you spend a couple of days really thinking about that and bringing pieces back to a little work group. And so what they were talking about, I did, but I did it in a more of like a intentional and intense sort of manner. And so it wasn't like it was bad information. It was just something that I'd already done.
Yeah.
But what I did get were, and I had my notes kind of pulled up here. I liked the big fish guy was one of the speakers, and I just was checking out his website, and he had case studies on his website. Case studies are this, like, hey, here was this roof. Here was the problem. Here's how, he was a roofer, by the way. Here was the problem, and here's how we address it. I'm like, oh, that's really good. I like that. Got that. These are things that I didn't go to the conference anticipating or looking for. These are things that I just kind of picked up. Another one was the proven process explained from the customer's perspective. I heard like process stuff a lot, and I was going to a number of those breakout sessions, and one of the biggest ones was to have a proven process through the customer's lens. I was like, man, I'd never thought of that and never heard of it. And if you're in EOS, you hear proven process a lot, and that was a good one. Speaking of vendors, there is a visionary peer group called, I don't have that name down.
We can link it in the show notes. I know what you're talking about.
But it was Coach Bob.
I went by there, but yeah, Coach Bob.
Coach Bob, and he was highly recommended by another friend of ours, Daryl Amy. He's been on the podcast. And so talked to him, talked to his group, and I thought, man, that's kind of nice. Just a group of visionaries all trying to work in the same path in the EOS model. 11 strategies of the business journey. Stages, sorry. The 11 stages of the business journey. The 10 disciplines, that whole concept was pretty good.
Yeah, and, speaking of Rick Miller, he kind of helped me when my couple years with Rick helped me develop these 10 disciplines. He works on those a lot as well. And the 10 disciplines are 10-year thinking. So it started with the 10-year thinking. So you can see why I'm on that.
Yeah.
Take time off. Know thyself. Be still. I'm not good at that one.
Be still. And they're talking 10 minutes of prayer or devotion or something, and then 20 minutes of meditation or just quiet.
Yeah.
Thought, ooh, what an order. Every day. Every day. So
now this
that's a discipline.
So the number 5 discipline, know your 100%. Decide on and commit to the perfect number of hours per week and weeks per year that you will deliver your impact to the world. That was a fun, assignment. And the way that they did...
Is that know your 100%?
Yeah.
Okay.
Know your 100%. And so they backed us into it, which was great. So take the weeks of the year that you work. Take your ideal number of hours a week that you work.
Mm-hmm.
And then... get your hourly rate.
Okay. Yeah.
And so we've talked about that a lot.
We have just kind of knowing what your capacity is.
And man, this
next one is really, really good.
And it's been all over lately in everything I've been reading is about the no.
Yeah. Say no often is one of the 10 disciplines.
Yeah.
Actually, number 6. It's really good. Yeah, they sort of dove into that pretty deep, and I really liked it. Essentially, and I've heard this before. You've heard me say it too, and I can't remember who I'm repeating it from. I definitely didn't come up with it. But every yes you say is a no to something else. And so essentially you have to think about it. If you're going to say yes to something, what are you going to say no to? And you need to be strategic about what that is. You can't just keep saying yes to everything, because eventually you start saying no to the things that you think are already, the boxes are checked. And this is the way I interpret it. That means like those relationships with the ones you love the most end up getting shortchanged because you keep saying yes to all these other things.
Yeah, you feel the insignificant with the significant people in your life's time.
Yeah.
So if you say no, if I say yes, I'm taking away probably from my wife.
Probably. Or kids or something else that's really important, but you think that box is checked. You think you're good in that department.
Right.
But you look up, you said yes to a lot of different things, but you've actually inadvertently and unconsciously said no to a bunch of the most important things. That was really good.
Yep.
The next one, this is your favorite.
Don't do 25 an hour work.
Yeah. I mean,
how often do I find myself doing that? Just that. Now, so I struggle with this a little bit because there's some. Does that mean that I delegate all my grass cutting or?
Yes.
Well, I know you would like me to.
You should never mow your own grass.
Yeah, I get that.
Don't fertilize it either.
Yeah,
don't work on your own irrigation.
That's a given.
When you want some lighting done, just call the experts.
Okay.
But other than that, all of the other things, maybe you can do other things. I don't know.
Yeah, like
your roof,
whatever. Yeah,
paint. Sorry, but go ahead. $25 an hour. There's nuance to it. It's really what you're getting at.
Yeah, that would have meant that last weekend when I called you and I said, what are you doing? You said, I'm on a ladder cleaning my gutters.
I did.
You wouldn't have done that in this instance had you not just been outside and it was great and you had
nice.
And you had your bucket hat on, and I feel like people with bucket hats should clean gutters.
Yeah, I did. And I was trying not to get sunburned. I don't know who to call for gutters, and it was kind of a pretty immediate need. I mean, those things were pretty jacked up. So
Instagram heard our conversation undoubtedly because I started getting gutter cleaning.
Did you?
Like knickknacks coming through Instagram, which you're a sucker for Instagram. You probably would have bought it.
Everything I buy is off of Instagram. Don't listen to me. Stop sending me stuff. So don't do 25-hour work. The nuance that is that, hey, if you're trying to do everything in your business, everything in your life, you're going to run yourself ragged and you're not going to be as efficient as you could or should be. If it's filing papers or whatever, and setting appointments, that was a big one for me early on, that I could hire someone to answer phone calls and set appointments for me. I thought I needed to do that. I thought that I needed to do all the bookkeeping. I thought that I needed to do the filing. I don't know why, but I was just like, oh, I can do that. It's no problem. But all of those things added up to me doing a bunch of, at that time, this is a long time ago, $12 an hour work. When I was trying to make $25 an hour, or I was trying to make $50 an hour, if you factor in like a regular 2,200 hour a year, and we all work more than that.
Yeah.
So that's the concept.
We could probably do a whole podcast on that.
We probably could.
On that one.
I'll put that in the notes.
And then this is something I actually do.
This is the one.
Most of the time, and when I don't do it, I kick myself every morning.
This was the one promise I've sort of made to myself, that to kind of uphold this, and I do a pretty good job.
Prepare every night.
Yeah.
I pack my gym bag. So all my day flows around my gym bag for some reason.
Mine too.
And so if I
don't my gym bag,
if I don't do it
at
night, I just don't go work out.
Yeah. So sometimes I have to work out at 5:30. Sometimes I don't. I can work out at 10 geriatric hour.
Yep.
Sometimes I'll train at 11:30. Sometimes I've got to train at night. But it all sort of fluctuates around that, and I do prepare just like you. But I do get, and I did, shout out to Michael Hyatt and the whatever planner, but the full focus planner. But I do write out, these are the 3 most important things I've got to get done the next day. And that's my plan, essentially. And then I make sure that those are on my calendar and everything works around that. Pretty good.
Number 9, I struggle with, and I don't know how I feel about it yet. Put everything in one place.
Yeah.
I put everything in 2 places. I have a physical notebook and then a digital notebook.
I do too.
And so I try to, but I look at both of those every day. So I feel like I'm covering that. But I have a digital life and then a kind of a journal life too. So I do that in 2 places.
Yeah, I've got the full focus planner where I'm just writing notes because it's pretty fast. But then I've also got 90 where most of my to-dos live in, and I look at those and I get an email every morning where my to-dos are. So
I like that because it sends me an email every morning. My notebook don't do that. And so I'm try to be diligent at night to move what's in my notebook to some kind of to-do app or digital app. And then number 10,
this one we don't struggle with.
If you look at my phone right now, it's on there. If you click my phone and turn it on, they had us do a line from not humble to humble.
Yeah. Where were you at?
It wasn't very good.
If it's 1 to 10, were you? And 10 was arrogant, and 1 was Gandhi.
I was probably more
11?
like a 6.
An 11?
Yeah, hush. I was past half.
Oh, past half. Okay.
Yeah. Where were you?
I don't know. I find that difficult. I felt like I was under half. I felt like I was a 4.
Really?
I felt like I was a 4, but I could be wrong about that one too.
Well, you're more developed.
Yeah, I think I've had more failures in life, that have forced some humility.
Maybe.
Yeah. So and that one's tough. I think it would be better to get 10 close people to give you what do you call it? An anonymous
assessment.
Yeah. An assessment with anonymity. This will not. We will not know your. Who this
your name
is.
And who it is.
Just put it on a number.
But it must have really resonated with me because literally, I did the line on my phone, created it as a phone screen. It's on my phone screen right now.
Yeah.
So it's something I probably needed to work on.
And let's talk about this. This is the 10 disciplines. We sort of went through that, and that was the big concept that Gino Wickman has been working on, and that is kind of a major component to his new book that he came out with, Shine, right?
Yeah. So he wrote the 10 disciplines.
Shine.
So he wrote the 10 disciplines book, and then he moved it into the personal development sector.
Yeah.
And that's what Shine is.
Yeah.
And so I kind of have some notes on that. And they're pretty good. Like if you want, I'll just hit the highlights. I've had this is one thing I've had, a personal purpose statement. I do actually have that, but I never thought about it in a 10-year framework.
Okay.
My personal statement is to live a life so generous that other people see it and want to live full lives for themselves. Mm-hmm. And then he talked about growth leaders have a well-defined sense of purpose. What are your core values, your personal core values? What principles do you consider fundamentally important, both personally and professionally? What ignites your passion? What problems do you naturally gravitate towards? What do you gravitate? What do you repel from? Who are your heroes? Whose leadership style and impact do you admire? What traits or contributions resonate with you most? And then we talk about this one a lot. What are your unique strengths and talents? And then after that, after you figure out what are your unique strengths, what leadership skills do you possess?
That's all good stuff.
Yeah. So I got a lot, as you can tell.
I got a lot. The funny thing is, it just isn't what I thought I was going to get.
No, I went totally expecting
something different.
But it wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. And clearly we've been kind of rapping about this for the last 30 minutes about just all the different things. And we went on about the 10 disciplines. And that was just really one talk and another breakout session.
Yeah.
There were lots of others. Core processes was one that I went to, and I heard a lot of process stuff because those are some of the things that I struggle with. You get here's our core process. Yeah. Attract, retain, maintain, something like that. And you're like, man, that's just too generic. I need something that hits a little harder. And so they really talked about some of the breakouts I went to talked about having better processes that aren't overly specific, but are specific enough to sort of move the needle and inspire others or inspire direction. So I think our assessment is it was a great conference, lots of information. It just ended up being a little bit different than what we thought. And hey, that's probably why we go.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. The very last thing I wrote in the conference, and I don't know why this, but I think it's pretty good, it's what are you willing to learn or grow in?
Ooh.
Recognize your weaknesses. Recognizing your weaknesses can guide your development for greater impact.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
So
I don't know that I can say it any better. With that, we ought to wrap it up.
It's a wrap.
Yeah. With that, we ought to wrap it up. That's a good one.
Hey, go check out our sponsors. They're pretty amazing.
Man, we say it a lot, but they are pretty great. We were talking about that before this podcast that, man, it's been pretty cool that we've been able to get this podcast up and off the ground and have, real momentum with the help of sponsors that we actually use and actually believe in. Like, we're not selling ourselves short by advertising or promoting people that we don't know and don't use their product, and we're just telling you a lie, which is one of the main things we wanted to do when we started talking about sponsorship. We were like, man, we don't want to do anything with anyone that we haven't personally used. And we're not saying that to like, oh, hey, give us stuff and then we'll try it out, and if we like it, we'll use it. We're like, no, we actually have both used Rick Miller. I've known Steve Bousquet with Green Profit Academy and he's been a personal mentor of mine for over 15 years.
I don't have a green industry business, but if I did, I would use him because I like Steve Bousquet.
Johnny Baranko, the best accountant I've used forever, and I'm kind of hard on accountants. He's fantastic. Chris May.
Yep.
I mean, that guy, I love the fact that he educates, he doesn't sell. So I understand the product, because who understands workman's comp? He actually goes through it with me. He's really good at that. Chris Drogmiller, I've used a ton.
Yep.
Wes Cootie.
Yep.
You've used.
He's given me some awesome advice. Jacob with Red Branch.
Oh yeah, man.
Every day.
I met with him when he first moved here.
You should see my countertops.
Yeah.
My outdoor countertops are killer.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
So yeah.
So please.
You guys, if you're in business, there's business sponsors that can help you.
There you go.
If you're local to Mobile and Baldwin County and want to get some fence done or get an outdoor space completed, you can do that too.
But if you need some accounting or some consulting, we've got some folks there too.
Absolutely. We would love to introduce you. So you can reach out to us and for the introduction.
Or they can go on our website.
Go on our website and click on the sponsors, and you can go directly to theirs.
Yeah. All right.
So
Speaking of sponsors, I'm going to go meet one of them.
Yep, you are. At one of my favorite places to eat.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Well, thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. And we'll be back next week with another episode. And yeah, we've got a pretty good lineup coming up. We've been spending some time on thinking that out. So hope you enjoy the podcast. Please share this with others. Share, like, hey, and send us some reviews. Keep that up.
Yep.
All right.
Peace.
Are you a business owner looking to overcome growth struggles? That's probably why you're listening to this podcast. But if you need personal help, look no further than Rick Miller with Pro 356 Consulting. You've heard about him a lot on this podcast. He's the Yoda of business, and he's here to help you achieve success. Pro 356 Consulting helps leaders like Keith and I navigate through challenges and achieve real sustainable success. Rick has over 30 years of experience helping businesses develop a balanced approach to growth and personal development. He believes in the power of people. He focuses on employee engagement, strategic planning, and servant leadership to help you unlock your company's full potential. Don't let growth struggles, personal or team-centric, hold your business back. Contact Rick Miller at Pro 356 Consulting today to start your journey toward success. Visit pro356consulting.com to schedule your consultation.
Hey guys, I want to tell you about my friend Wes Cody. He's the president of C2 Wealth Strategies, a financial advisory firm dedicated to providing personalized solutions for your financial needs. Wes and his team of professionals are passionate about helping clients create wealth and achieve financial freedom. At C2 Wealth Strategies, they believe in taking a holistic approach to financial planning and are committed to building long-lasting relationships with their clients, ensuring their financial well-being every step of the way. Don't leave your financial future to chance. Contact Wes and C2 Wealth today at c2wealth.com to schedule a consultation. Let Wes and his team help you build your financial future.
Hey there, listeners. I want to give a shout out to a friend and sponsor of ours, Chris Drogmiller from CMD Fencing. Let me tell you, I've had the pleasure of working with Chris personally over the last 3 or 4 years, and I've never encountered a fence contractor who excels in communication, craftsmanship, and timeliness like he does. Chris always delivers. I mean it. Fair prices, top-notch work, always on budget, and the best part for me, always on time. So if you're in need of a fence company to help you with a fence or any other outdoor wooden structure, give Chris a call. You won't be disappointed. Get in touch with Chris and let him and his team take care of all your fencing needs. CMD Fencing.
Sid and Keith, when I was on your podcast, I shared my story of how I was $250,000 in debt, and then how I turned my business around and grew it into a highly profitable multi-million-dollar lawn and landscape business. I'm Steve Bousquet, and we've created a program consisting of courses and coaching that guide people through the process and tools I use to turn my business around and grow it into a highly profitable multi-million-dollar lawn and landscape business. You can find out more how I did this by visiting greenprofitacademy.com or by going to Amazon and buying our book, Profit First for Lawn Care and Landscape Businesses, right on Amazon.